Overall, man, I'm happy the way it ended, dude. I really am, and people
Me
hated it.
too.
Oh, why do
I don't
people
know.
hate it so much? I loved it. I really did. I really enjoyed what the ending.
Same.
You know, I didn't even hate the Revo thing. I mean, it was stupid, but it was fine. Whatever.
Yeah. I thought it
So
was. I was so happy with it.
yeah, yeah. So here's the question I had that I couldn't figure out. Maybe you guys can give me an answer. Does she know who Luke is? What do you say?
I
What
don't
do you
think
guys
she
think?
does, but I know that she
I
was
don't think
important.
she does. Yeah, yeah. I don't think she
I think
I
knows
she
know
just
who
knew
that
he was
it's
Luke is.
Obi-Wan. He was
the
close to Obi-Wan.
transmitter that she read. I felt like she knew that he's very important to the elements of what Vader and Obi-Wan and all this and the Organa. Like I'm pretty sure she probably recognized who that was. So I figured she knew that Obi-Wan, that was his next mission, his next target. Like he had to go. So she would probably jump ahead of the game by going to go see Luke. But look, I understand that her inner Padawan Jedi came out, and she could not fulfill the dark side of it. Kind of like that fulfillment test of like, are you gonna switch over here or not? When Luke had that choice, when Annie had that choice,
Mhm.
they all had that choice. Once you make this decision, there's no turning back, and I that was it for her. That was it for her to make that choice, and she did not make it. Clearly, as you saw, she basically was vulnerable and just kind of threw her saber down, and Obi-Wan took her by the hand. So it's a very interesting scene to see. Um, but I'm not upset with how that ended, and I know a lot of people were like, "No, that part sucked," and I get it. You wanted justice for somehow, some way, but I felt like it had to go one way or the other. So
Mhm.
with
Yeah,
Riva,
What you got, Brandon?
Oh no, the problem I had was actually with Luke. You know how Leia has really stolen the entire show. She was like
mm-hmm.
unbelievable. Her emotion, her acting, she's able to do all these abilities, and Luke just falls down some rocks. Though he lives in the middle of the desert on those rocks that he plays with every day. So like he couldn't get away in any way. Like Leia, it was hard to capture. Luke was just like so easy. It was just I felt like he showed no sensitivity at all, and it just seems like he was so far behind Leia
yeah.
in the whole scheme of things. And it's not like Leia's been trained by
Mhm.
anybody.
No.
So
I think she's just better. I think she's better. They even say that in the sequels. But he's Derby's saying the Riva show, and no, it. She played a part in the beginning to get Kenobi off his ass. After that, it was the Kenobi show.
yep.
It was definitely.
Yeah,
But it started off with her
yeah,
trying to do her.
yeah,
But I do think Reva's
yeah.
going to
I thought
show up
Kenobi
again.
was very front and center
Yeah, especially towards the end.
in another show. Mhm.
What was that?
Yeah, I definitely agree about Luke. Luke almost felt like an afterthought on the show whole. He was just such a non-presence, and it would have been nice to kind of have an equal balance if they were able to. I understand why he didn't, because Obi-Wan wasn't on Tatooine. He was off planet alongside Leia, so I kind of understand. But I kind of felt like there was a little more they could have done with Luke. You know, Luke was basically a glorified cameo on the entire show, and it would have been nice to have like something more of an equal balance between the two.
Yeah. Although I wouldn't mind seeing more Luke, but I like Leia. I think Leia, and it kind of shows like Leia was more of a badass too.
Definitely.
Leia was
I
great,
like
yeah.
Leia, but I thought Luke, you could have done something like, because they said they're repairing the cart, whatever, for him, because he had messed it up, he had broke it, whatever. If he was running away and jumped into that, and showed his driving skills, even at that age, very similar to Anakin as a callback to episode 1. I feel like that would have been a better Luke story. And Reeve could still catch him, whatever, and do whatever, but that would have been a
in
better
her own
call-
speed or
callback
something like
to
that.
everything. And it would show that he has his skills and she has hers.
Yeah.
That would have been.
That would have been cool if it was like a speeder chase, and then he ran into the mountains and then followed from there. Yeah,
That's fine.
That would have made way more sense.
It would have made sense too. So he had all those things there. He decided not to get anything. Like
no,
he's not resourceful at all.
I'm gonna run through the desert. That's more like
right next to her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna outrun this Jedi in the desert.
Yeah.
Or this Sith Lord.
Yeah, this very.
It was interesting to see that part. Other than that, though, it was weird to see how much Luke was not involved in that. Only because I felt like, they were saying a cameo, but I agreed that they could have done something a little bit differently. I came taking off on a speeder, like we mentioned, but that whole part kind of gave Ben or Owen and his wife kind of like how much they really cared about Luke and how much they devoted to him. And at the end of all that, I do like that Owen did give permission. It wasn't necessarily like a permission thing. It was more of a respecting, like, hey, it's okay if you want to talk to him. Because I wanted to know how the phrase Uncle Ben was a thing. And they just established that there. That little scene right there where he goes, which by the way, they ended it with his little hello there, which is awesome.
That was epic.
I was like, that was cheesy and corny, but I was like, you know what? It's perfect. Like it's so yeah. So when they did that, I'm like, okay, that's how they built that relationship throughout the years, and that's how he knows him as Uncle Ben. Because even in the episodes, he's like Uncle Ben, and then he doesn't see him for a while. I'm assuming some point they disappear somewhere. I don't know.
Does he call him? He doesn't call him Uncle Ben.
I swear, old Ben. Is it Old Ben? I'm
Old
getting
Ben
my Star Wars and Marvel mixed up. Yeah. But he knows him, so it was just like. So I thought it was really interesting of that part. So, but other than that was the weird part of the episode that we probably a lot of people didn't like because it happened pretty much all within that scene.
It was like a 8-minute portion.
Yeah,
the rest of that
chase.
Was epic. It was like
Mark,
remember that thing you showed me with how the fight between Kenobi and Darth Vader should have gone. It was like this 4-minute thing. Like that was as close as I.
That was it.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And and that's funny because when I showed you guys that, it was so like that's what it should have been, and they finally they showed that today in that and what we saw, which if you haven't seen it, it's they remade the scene where they go rescue Han Solo and Luke go rescue Princess Leia out of the Death Star, and this is where Kenobi gets slashed and dies. They redid that whole scene. If you haven't watched it, look at the remake of that scene. I'm pretty sure you could find it on YouTube or somewhere. Unless I could show it now, I don't know. But it's a really good scene.
It's 4 minutes long. And I don't want to get copyright.
It's a really good scene. It definitely. I wish they would remake it and throw that in there, but it was really good.
That is the first thing. Also, when the rocks were floating behind him, and you're just like pummeling him. It's the first thing I'm like, oh, this is what what Martin showed us, but like them younger.
Yeah,
Dude, that had to have been one of the best fight scenes
man, it was like
in
watching
Star Wars.
Elder Rings or some fighting a boss or something. It was crazy. It was really cool.
It was
I
like
liked.
It was
Kenobi,
awesome.
what we all thought Kenobi was. You know what I'm saying? Like we always thought Kenobi was this master, but they never really let him be that master. Let's see his powers really when he's really full Jedi, and we just got to see that in this episode. And that scene with those rocks behind him, just floating behind him, he's holding all of them. Like I was like, man, this is the coldest thing I've ever seen. You know, but it was reminiscent of Rey also, but he was doing it while fighting Darth Vader. Come on, man. I mean, and then Kenobi not killing Darth Vader is kind of bad too. But whatever, it is what it
It's
is.
sad. But I think that was just more to Kenobi on he still feels sad for what happened, But
Yeah,
man, it's just,
he got really
and I
teary
think
eyed there.
yeah, like legit, like his eyes are all watery and stuff like that, and saying sorry and stuff like that was. But even in episode 3, or Revenge of the Sith, when they have their fight, I feel like he might be holding back a little bit. In this one, he's more on the offensive and full go, and he was just being a badass, and it was super cool, and like seeing them like force push each other and this and that, and but for me when he came in with that weird like slash and chopped his helmet, bro, that was one of the coolest things in Star Wars I probably ever seen, where it's going in and out with James Earl Jones' voice, and you see Hayden Christensen that all melted, and he's man, and he's like, oh, you end with the evil smile with the blue turning into the red glow. The best scene in all of Star Wars.
Yeah,
All
I
I'm
like how
calling
they
it.
interfaced
So
the
good.
two voices. It was great.
Yeah, so freaking good.
I got a question, guys. Did you guys notice that Obi-Wan really didn't get full power of of the Force until he touched his emotions, which like the Jedi are like supposed to be against touching those emotions and getting in tune with those and having those type of relationships. Once he has those relationships, that's what gave him all that power. I thought that was very interesting because we're going to be going through these new series with Ahsoka and all these things, where we're going to start touching on that idea of Grey Jedi and using both for that power. But I feel like that's what Kenobi almost touched, because he wasn't just using the Force; he was also using his emotion to go back it.
Yeah, no, a lot was going through his mind, but I felt like that's what Jedi's are supposed to do. They have to have that balance between both. And yeah, do they overcome on some of them a little, but they don't fully turn on all the way. So I felt like you did see that. So and I think that's why he could never ever in his entire life really really take the plunge to finally kill Vader, because he knew what he was, and I felt like his love for him was just too strong for him. I can't do this, but and as we saw, it was as you strike me down, I'm gonna be more powerful than ever. So it was basically ultimately his decision. Like I'm never gonna be able to do this, like ever. So it was really cool scene though to see.
I was waiting for him having a high ground in the whole fight. I was just waiting. So please have a high ground. That's all I wanted.
I was with perfect opportunity.
There was a missed opportunity for Annie to say that to him when he put him in the hole.
Yes.
Had Annie said that, I have the high ground now, it's over, and then threw the rocks on him, I was like, that would have been kind of cool.
That would have been so epic. That would have been. Yeah. I don't know why they did that. It would not have been corny. It would have made sense in the scene, and it would also remind you that like Anakin remembers this shit. You know what I mean? Like he dwells on this every single second of his life, of his day is that moment. So I think that would have also been a great callback and made sense, and would have showed the importance of that was the moment that he became Vader, like physically and emotionally. They should have done it. They should have done. They did the hello there. They should have
Yeah.
switched the high
It
ground.
was
But that was him.
Should've.
they
But it
wait there,
had
they're like,
Had he
No.
would have said, "I have the high ground now. It's over," and then just buried his ass with rocks. Oh man, that would have been great.
Nah, that really would have. That would have.
What about when Vader said, "You didn't kill Anakin, I did." That was so good, man. And it explains so much. But I felt like it had a feeling of Anakin in that, like that almost in a little bit of regret, almost. You know what I'm saying? Like I made these choices. I'm trying to let my master know you didn't do this. It's not your fault. This is me. I made choices, and this is the choice I made. It has nothing to do with you. I felt like it was something that he kind of let off for Vader. He just let him off the hook. Or let Obi-Wan off the hook. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys would agree with me, but I feel like this series made Vader the true scary villain that we always knew he was, but they never showed it. This series between the shit he did there, the evil grin that you saw in half of the mask thing, dude, that was epic. Even my girlfriend was like, we're watching, she goes, "Oh, that's pretty scary." I was like, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, was that the trigger warning? Because in the beginning of the episode, it said like there might be some graphics in here that might bother you. And I'm like, damn, they gave us a trigger warning for Star Wars. And I wonder if that was it, because that was very like well shot, but that was scary. That was a scary moment. So I don't know.
But it was so cool. It's one of those things that there are moments in that episode that I'm going to just go back and rewind and just watch over, because it was just so cool to watch.
Yeah. He used so much force power. Oh, like the ground, like he rumbled the hole, like how we got him into that hole. Like he literally like Hulk smashed it basically, kind of. And it just traveled up the ground and then collapsed. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. I'm just like, like Derpy, saying it's the Reva show. The people who gave up on it on episode 2 of the season missed out on a great. The last two episodes were amazing. I would even kind of go into the last 3, because that was when you saw Vader doing the really messed up stuff. So were there problems with this series? Yeah. Did it ruin it? No. Yeah.
No series is perfect.
Even the original trilogy had issues. Yep. So if Reva was your issue on why you didn't want to watch this, then I feel like you missed out and you're just looking for a reason to complain. That's just me. Yep. Because this had the best parts of all of Star Wars in it, and it was Kenobi and Vader, and yeah. This fight scene,
Kenobi at his full strength is better than Vader, and the good side of the Force is also strong too. It's not weak, because it always seems like when you see good versus evil, good always is getting beaten in Star Wars almost all the time. As a group, they might win, but individually, one-on-one, you're stronger than I am. And that's not what we saw today. We saw, even as badass as Vader was, Kenobi held it down for the good side of the Force too. And it seemed like Kenobi found himself again. It's nothing better than seeing a man go through a journey, lose himself, and then find himself again. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah, that's always a good arc. I was hoping to wait for Brandon to come back on. So I know he was having some tech issues, so I think he restarted his computer. But so I know, like Derpy said, like the leaks were true. So now that the series is over, so the leaks are partially true, and I think 90% true. But the main part that people were upset about the leaks, right? The leaks was Reva was going to find out who Luke was, right, and go to kill him, or she's gonna go to kill Luke, which she did in this, right? But then I believe in the leaks, she finds out who Luke is, and he's the last hope. You know what I mean? He's the new hope, quote. And she stops. So she doesn't kill Luke because she finds out he could take down Vader. And then in the leak, supposedly she goes back to Vader and says, like, oh, I lost them, and then Vader kills her. So she dies defending Luke. You know what I mean? So a lot of people were upset that were like, oh, all of Star Wars happened because she made the sacrifice, which pissed off a lot of people. And they didn't do it. They got close, but they didn't make her the savior of Star Wars, because of her, Luke got to live and this and that and blah, blah, blah. They didn't do that. I don't even think she knew who Luke was a Skywalker. I think she knew he was force sensitive, and I think she knew he was important to Kenobi.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think
That's
she
how I
knew
felt
that was
about
Anakin said. That's how I felt about it too. Like, I don't think she knew who he was. So I think she wanted to kill a youngling, somebody who was possibly force sensitive, to get back at Vader, or to get back at, or to
Probably both.
make things even.
I didn't know if she wanted to kill Luke to hurt Kenobi, or kill a youngling to prove that to Vader that she's powerful enough and she's able to do these things, so he'll take her back.
I feel like
So
it was
she
both.
full dark side. So like that
Kinda.
could have been what it is. But now this allows her to an opportunity to have another arc in other series. So she understands the good side of the Force. She understands the dark side of the Force. Maybe she becomes someone's teacher as we go along. She has another recurring role, in some of these new series.
Yeah. I think I said last week, I want to see her go save youngling. Like her go, like, protect the other younglings that all these Inquisitors are supposed to kill. So you can bring in, all the other Inquisitors that we haven't seen yet, and have her fight them. So she's like the good guy that went bad and now is back to good, kind of thing. But she wasn't what everyone thought she was going to end up being. She really wasn't that. In the end, her role was nothing besides a starting point for Kenobi. After that, she was just kind of there and being annoying, but that's because being annoying because of just who she is. Like, she didn't even know who she was, so she's fighting with herself.
She wasn't strong enough to be a main character, but she was strong enough to get someone to get to where they needed to go. So she got kidnapped. Leia. She kidnapped Leia. She had set that stuff in motion. She got Obi-Wan off the planet. She had a good plan. She set things in motion. And after that, episode 3, she was just a bystander, really.
Yeah, she was just
a pawn, and everyone else was using her to do their moves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she went from being a major player to, like, oh, she's just, like you said, a pawn, and then was just literally left on the side just to be left alone. But her part at the end kind of like was a little. Well, Derpy's saying the problem I had with the series also was Dave and John didn't work on it, so yeah, they know what Star Wars is. I agree, but also just because they didn't have it, I mean, you could say the same thing as, like, well, George Lucas didn't have anything to do with it, so therefore it's not good. I mean, John and Dave make great stuff with The Mandalorian and even Clone Wars, but this episode trumps all of that. I think. One episode.
This episode's the best episode. Mandalorian is still a better show.
Better series altogether, for sure. But this is the best episode. Yeah, out of it. So yeah,
We should
we're just
get
kind of
kind of
Yeah.
talk about what he was saying.
yeah. So go, what you think about it, man? I know you were kind of restarting your computer.
Yeah. I had to restart. Technical difficulties, you know how it is with modern technology sometimes. But I liked that this was very much. It was what the entire series was leading up to. Essentially Owen getting his groove back, and him and Anakin Vader, really facing off, and that really I like that it showed what further fed Vader's contempt towards Obi-Wan when they meet up in A New Hope again. And excuse me, I really like that it bridged the gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. And dude, that shot, I think we can all agree that was amazing. And I'd really be if they just if they just left it there. This does not need another season.
Hold on, man. So you were like breaking up really, really bad. That's why Martin's cracking up because yeah, the ping is over 9,000. That's pretty damn funny. Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. Usually you're pretty good. Like I don't know if it's just a bad internet day. Everyone's streaming Kenobi in downtown. Usually you're pretty good, man. It's really delayed and really laggy.
No, but look, overall, I want to say I think he on that McDonald's Wi-Fi.
You're on that McDonald's Wi-Fi?
No kidding, bro. Look, I felt like this whole thing with. So I know we're talking about Reva, but I'm trying to veer off that. What they did with Leia at the end was kind of cool. They had that closure with him. Obviously after that fight, it was crazy to see what we expect from Obi-Wan to do, but then that closure that he did with Leia,
that was good too. I didn't expect that.
I didn't expect it either, but it wasn't on episode 4 where this has to be the last time that he sees her. I'm pretty sure it has to be the last time that he sees her because it's almost as if like they didn't lead up to like maybe it's a good thing that has a big old gap because she kind of in episode 4 it looks like she kind of forgot who he was. Like kind of like, hey, you helped my father during the Clone Wars. I need your help. Help me, Obi. You're the only hope I got, kind of thing. So whether she knew he was alive or not, I'm pretty sure this would be the last ever time that he would see her. Because then I'm pretty sure he would devote full time there to Luke, and again.
Do you think? I mean, so now I don't know if that's why I read or felt at the end. I felt that they left it open to do a second season with him.
I think this is the last time he ever sees her, to be honest.
Yeah, this is the last time he sees her. But I feel like it's not the last of Obi-Wan's adventures.
Oh,
I feel
probably
like Obi-Wan
not.
now opened up into being in the world again, and he might want to be doing secret missions all around.
Well, it's like what we saw, man. Qui-Gon came out of the end and said, "We got work to do, bro."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my!" Like, look, I blew it. I blew my mind. It blew my mind. I was like, "Holy crap!" It's Qui-Gon. Like I'm surprised they got him to do that or whatever the hell they did. But it was really probably the coolest thing in for me because I loved Qui-Gon. I really did. Like reading about him, everything. Like Qui-Gon was one of my favorite Jedis. He knew a lot about both sides, but he was always in tap with the Force. That he knew what was gonna happen. Like all of this is because of his choice that he made.
Yep.
Like, this whole series is because of one choice that he made, and Obi-Wan fulfilled it. And it was just nuts because the story is between him and Palpatine, to be honest. Palpatine because he was just the master. Like I don't care what anybody says, he might be the rudest,
The
evilest
bad
dude out
dude.
there, but
Yeah.
you gotta tell me that guy is smart. That guy is smart because he had the whole galaxy in his hands, and then Qui-Gon making this big old decision about this one individual. So,
But Derpy said, spoilers. You know, he goes, if I wanted to watch it, but he said, no, you're good. I'm not supporting Disney Star Wars anymore. I don't know. I mean, there's problems. There are problems, but damn it, when they get it right, they get it right. And that's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for those right moments, and this was definitely one of those right moments.
Yeah.
Overall, the show I thought was pretty good. But this last episode, I mean, it made Star Wars Theory cry again. You know, so I don't know if you know Star Wars Theory, big backlash because he cried when Luke first showed up in Mandalorian. He wound up crying again when he saw Qui-Gon. So,
Dude, it was
if a
amazing,
show
though.
makes
I mean,
a
this literally is amazing. It's one of those things that if you have watched everything, love or hate, when you invest time, seeing those guys again really brings out emotion. It is, you know. I mean, if you're a true nerd, you feel something.
That's Marvin, isn't it? That's Marvin, isn't it?
That might be Jimmy. Jimmy was having issues yesterday
Jimmy?
too. For the show
One of
Facebook
those
user.
One of those two always say something.
This is skills.
Yeah. So, and you're not wrong. I mean, Leia was kidnapped, so, so you're kind of right there.
Yeah.
With it. But if you're skipping this show because you think Star Wars is too woke or all the other BS, then I think you're missing out on one of like a great story with one of the, if not to me, the best fighting scene in all of Star Wars. All of Star Wars. With one of the coolest scenes in all of Star Wars. So it came from a Disney Plus show. Sorry, what was that, Brandon?
From a Disney Plus show?
I was just saying because I'm pretty sure I'm still delayed. Saying it was just amazing.
Yeah.
Does Daredevil count? Does Daredevil count as a Disney Plus show?
No, that was
Okay.
Netflix.
All right.
No, that
I'm
was-
just saying, hey, you
Star
got to give
Wars
some
wise.
props to Daredevil fighting all them
Yeah.
dudes heading down them stairs.
That was
That was that was a good fight. If you haven't seen it, it was pretty good.
yeah. Yeah, that's definitely. But for Star Wars, I mean, you have all these movies and everything, and Disney Plus. For me, Disney Plus is knocking it out of the park with Star Wars. I mean, we could talk about MCU later and stuff like that, but with Star Wars, Disney Plus is doing a great job with keeping the stories alive.
I don't know. I mean, this was really good. The Mandalorian season 1, season 2 were really, really good. They had some misses, but this is these couple ones. These are some big hits, and you got to wake up and realize that you have actual content that makes sense, that is good, for Star Wars, and it's really saving Star Wars. We need this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're saying the same thing what I said, Mandalorian and Obi-Wan are far better than and are more enjoyable than any Star Wars movies that have been released. I think really you're just talking about the sequels at this point. The last 10 years is the sequels.
I still think Force Awakens was a good starting point. They had a chance to really do something special, and they just pissed down their leg. But The Force Awakens was not a bad movie. They set
was a start.
The pieces. They just did a bad job following through.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks. But going back to what Derpy said is like with John and Dave Filoni, and blah blah blah. This was all Ray Skywalker. This thing.
Yeah.
Also, how many freaking lightsabers are buried on Tatooine in Luke's home now? This is like
you just randomly jogging, and you go trip over another lightsaber.
Because now we know Reva, her evil lightsaber is there, and then Luke and Leia's lightsaber are buried there now too, from Ray Skywalker. So it's like, I mean, there's gonna be so many lightsabers hanging out where Luke grew up. You know, so yeah. So that's kind of funny. Yeah, I thought I'm like, oh, another lightsaber to the collection there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really wondering how this is all going to tie into. Well, like Andor is coming in August, right?
Yeah.
August.
I don't
Yeah,
think it has
I forgot
anything.
about that.
Yeah, Andor, I'm excited for, so that's going to be its own separate thing. How this is going to tie into is the Mandalorian season 3. That's going to be interesting to me how that's going to tie in. I don't know if it will, but that's
I
not
don't.
till next year, so I don't really even care right now because right now we're going to be talking about Andor here coming
Yeah.
pretty soon.
Yeah, I can see this tying to Andor because it's the same time frame. You know, I could definitely see O'Shea Jackson being part of Andor. Like after
Okay.
that line
Okay.
Kenobi told him,
No, yeah.
you know, because
Yeah.
that's
They need
all
more
the start of the
leaders.
rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and I wouldn't mind seeing him. You know, I thought he was pretty cool and you give him a cool like leader
That does
role.
make sense,
Um,
right?
yeah, but the Mandalorian, I don't see that because Luke is still a kid, and in Mandalorian, Luke is already dead. Or not dead, but
An adult.
an adult. Yeah. You know, Vader's dead. So yeah. So I think that's like a good like what 20
20
ish?
years.
No. 20 years?
20 years.
15, 20, something like
Yeah, so 10 for the first episode 4, and then a couple years after that,
couple years.
Return for Empire Strikes Back, and then a couple years after that for Return of the Jedi, and then 3 years after that. So we're talking about 18 years maybe? 18 years?
Yeah, that's about right. From where
Roughly,
Mandalorian
yeah.
shows taking place. Yeah. So, but I want to see O'Shea Jackson back again for sure. I like this character, you know, being a leader and all that.
Same.
So, yeah. He was a good actor. I liked him.
So
I want to
yeah,
know what happened with his wife, you know, or his girlfriend or whatever he called. So, Qui-Gon, I have a particular set of skills that will find you and kill you, Dark Jar Jar. Yeah, that's
overall,
basically
though,
how it ended.
Overall, I feel like this episode is a now. It's a now.
Easily.
It's not just a now; it's a now that I'm going to watch over and over again. I think I actually like this. The back half of this is better than even The Mandalorian for me. These last 3 episodes are even better than The Mandalorian because personally, Darth Vader is my favorite, and seeing him being Darth Vader is just special. And seeing Obi-Wan Kenobi being what we all thought he was is also special. It's like they gave us all the beginning parts, and then we see him when he's old, and they finally fulfilled the dream there. And that's what I saw. Even this last episode, with the last 3 episodes building. Yeah, I think Leia really carried a lot of the beginning part of it. And then Darth Vader being the badass did too. So I feel like, honestly, I like Loki, Mandalorian season 2, and then this even more than the Mandalorian 1. Like I think this is way up there for me.
Yeah. So I'm assuming this is Jimmy. If this is not you, Jimmy, let me know. But he's saying I have such an affection and obsession with Vader, Kenobi, and the whole Chosen One story. This is my fave. Yeah. And he even said, "Is it now and hurry the f up and make more type good." You know.
Food.
So yeah, what do you make? Yeah, good. So,
Good.
Yeah. I'm right there.
I would say this is my favorite one. And why? Because it has legends in it. You know, you have all the characters that we all grew up with for the past 40 years. They're all here. Young or old, but they're all here. Obviously Luke and Leia younger, but we see them as they progress in between the series and how it led up to these episodes of the movies. And back to what they were saying is who was it? If I saw Yoda, I would. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. I don't know. I really thought it was really cool. They ended with Qui-Gon there
Yeah.
being like because it's his master.
Yeah, it makes
But
more sense.
yeah, easy.
Yeah.
But it was like it was just so. And I said this at the beginning, when we started this series is I feel like watching series is a lot better than watching the movies. Here's the comment I was saying. Why is it better released than the last 10 years? Is because we get more out of a series and out of a show than we do with a single movie. Because a movie can give you 3 hours max, right? Of awesomeness, where we can get 6 to 10 hours of awesomeness. Yeah, it's gonna be pieced, but it's if you string them all together, it's one big, you know, like is there people out there that probably watch these back to back and are probably gonna watch this 6 hours straight? If they haven't watched it, they'll probably this weekend. I would not be doubt that there's gonna be someone out there in the world that are gonna sit there 6 hours and watch this straight. I
And
guarantee you
do
that.
Yeah.
it, and you would enjoy it. And
Hmm.
congratulations, it's great.
Yeah.
I was thinking about redoing it because it does have rewatch value. I've
It does.
rewatched the
Mhm.
episode 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And just to kind of
Yeah.
piggyback off what Martin was saying with these legacy characters, the thing that really hooked me in is how much care it was handled with. And, how focused it was in advancing and progressing these characters that we've known, since 40 or for 40 plus years. So it's not like it was just cranked out for a cheap cash grab. Like they thought it out and executed it wonderfully. And that's something that I really, really like about it, probably the most.
Yeah.
And that's something that really, really impressed me about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely getting to see all the, like you said, the legacy characters helped out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you for as much like crap I was talking like the last couple of weeks with like Taika wanting to make a whole different thing somewhere else, which I'm still super excited for. But when you can do the old characters justice, it's not only a good story, you make the fans happy, and I think that was the issue with particularly the Last Jedi with doing Luke bogus like that, which is why people loved it even more
Yeah.
when he showed up in the Mandalorian. So like for me, it's like that part of Mandalorian, that episode. Was that season 2?
Yeah.
Season 2. Yeah, and this episode are like two of the best parts of all of Star Wars. I mean, there's the Luke, I am your father. That's a classic and stuff like that. But out of like the last 10 years, maybe even longer, I mean, that's it. Seeing Luke kick ass as badass Luke and seeing Vader and Kenobi do the best fight scene in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do you
It-
want from like that's
it's-
what you want as a fan.
Definitely. It's, this and, Mandalorian, even to a lesser extent, Book of Boba Fett. It's kind of bridged some gaps and kind of went into some things that me growing up as a fan, I've always wanted to see. I was always interested in seeing what Obi-Wan was up to in that interim between, between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. And like a lot of stuff, I wanted to see Luke, being able to do his thing, which they've displayed in The Mandalorian. So I'm kind of curious to see what they do moving forward.
Yeah.
With other legacy characters.
Yeah. Cool. So I mean, I guess we all love the show for sure.
It should be right
Definitely give it a
real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick. Sorry. That does Disney report how many people have streamed these episodes? They don't have to. Sometimes they do, but they don't give you numbers. They're just like, oh, it's the most streamed, blah blah blah. I don't know if we're gonna get that kind of info unless it is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But they don't have to give us that info, so it kind of sucks. And then he also said, if they make another season, would you love to see Darth Maul, Yoda, and Ahsoka?
That still has to happen technically.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Ahsoka.
The Darth Maul Kenobi fight.
I mean, it happens in
timeline
Rebels.
ish. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It happens in Rebels.
So
but it happens back on Tatooine. So
right.
and you got a little bit of a while to do it. Yeah, everything happens on Tatooine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind. I mean, Darth Maul already has so much story from the animated cartoons. But I would like to see him kind of come back and do some more, because there's a good section where he's kind of gone, and he becomes like this like old thing before he comes back in Rebels. So I'm kind of curious between season when he fights Ahsoka in season 7 of Clone Wars and the beginning of Rebels. Like maybe you can have them fight a couple more times, or stuff like that. Pretty cool. But Yoda, I don't know if they're going to touch Yoda anymore. They got the new Yoda. They got baby Yoda.
Yeah, and Yoda has not left
Bad
his
Batch
planet
too, though.
for 30 years when Luke sees him. So if he hasn't left his planet for 30 years, he can't leave. It's just where we are.
Yeah. But for sure, Darth Maul. But Ahsoka, I guess a lot of people. There's one Instagram guy I follow on Instagram. He does a lot of Star Wars kind of stuff. Jayception, I think his name is, or something like that. He put out like a post. He said he stopped watching Kenobi after episode 1. Like he said he started watching episode 2 and then gave up, which I think is like
mistake.
I mean,
okay.
you can't criticize something if you're not watching it. You're just like, oh, that food sucks. Oh, did you eat it? No, it just sucks. Well, how do you know? Like, it's like your opinion doesn't matter because you haven't tried it. You don't know what you're talking about. You just
especially that early in the game,
Yeah.
And maybe it's me because I'm so used to, because I'm such a patient person, I know, the first 2 episodes you're kind of gaining your traction. And you really have to stick it out. And I was fine with that because we were dealing with such a weary Obi-Wan. So it was going to start out slow, and take kind of baby steps no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes, it's kind of like whatever happened to patience. Just kind of sticking it out.
Yeah, I mean, you have to watch the entire season to understand if it's worth it. And sometimes you watch it like a whole movie, or you watch the whole season and you're like, well, that sucked. But at least now it sucked, and you can kind of make your decision there. But if you're 30 minutes in or 45 minutes in, like a roughly 6-hour kind of thing, I mean, how much of the story are you actually getting?
Yeah, exactly. Still setting up. It's still setting all the pieces on the chessboard. So why you don't get this huge reveal? That doesn't make any sense. It'll be bad story.
I guess. Yeah, I guess some people just want it to jump straight into mindless action. Watch the Michael Bay movie for that.
Right. Yeah. But, I mean, yeah. So I mean, it had some issues, Revo in the beginning, but it worked itself out, I thought, pretty well. And pretty curious on everything. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna give out a whole overall series thing.
Yeah,
or anything.
Let's rate it. I'm gonna rate.
But before we do that, look, some people just want to see the world burn. But look, shout out to freaking Ian McDiarmid for coming back as freaking Palpatine. That was kind of cool. He zoomed in. I'm like, hey, that's him.
But cool, man. We've been talking about Kenobi for a while, which I knew what was going to happen. So it was the finale, and it was one hell of a finale. But cool, man. Thank you, Martin, for hanging out with us, and Brian as well on vacation. But can't get you away from NBA or Star Wars. Just can't get away from that stuff. So appreciate you guys. If you're watching our replay, thank you guys. Let us know what you thought of Kenobi, all of the season, just episode 6, whatever. Did you hate it? Did you love it? Did you not even bother watching it? But let us know, and we'll let you know what we